So today I'm driving electric. Yay! I'm doing my bit for the environment and all of that. And we've been basically, because we're moving, and we're actually moving today. I've got the big removals van behind me somewhere. I don't know, hopefully. And so we're going to be, obviously, Alexandra, my wife, is going to need to commute between where we're moving to back to Hillier or near Malmö. And so we needed something economical, and we've been looking to try and find what car fits the bill. You know, what's the most economical car for mainly the motorway, but also with a little bit of city driving, cheap to maintain, fun, lots of features, and, you know, comfortable interior, but also big enough on occasion if we wanted to get the whole family in there and drive somewhere. So we looked at hybrids, and the challenge I think with lots of hybrids at the moment is that they're really good around town, but they're not really good for motorway driving, because on the motorway the engine kicks in. So you're only really using the electric in and around cities, where you could argue that's where you use the most fuel. But actually, you know, if you're on a motorway for 40 minutes or 30 minutes and your city driving is only about 3 minutes, then you're not really saving a lot. So we ruled out hybrid because most of the electric range of the hybrid vehicles is very short as well, surprisingly short. So you think, best of both worlds, electric and benzene or petrol. Benzene is what they call it in Sweden for petrol. But actually, when you start looking into it, you're spending money on petrol. When you take it to be serviced, not only are you still servicing a regular car with a gearbox and all the other elements that can go wrong, oil changes, etc., but you've also got to service the electric motor as well. So you ultimately, it's like taking two cars to be serviced, and I think over time, long term, it's just not really practical. So we got rid of the idea of a hybrid. We were looking at the Prius, which is a great car, but again, Prius is great for driving in city, not really for motorway driving, because that's when the engine kicks in. So then we thought, okay, all electric, what are the options? And there are a number of electric cars. There's the Kia Niro, there's the Nissan, what's it called? It's really, really ugly. Nissan Leaf, really, really ugly car. There is the Renault Zoe. Now, immediately I thought, Renault, French cars, no way, because they are notorious for electrics failing. And I know my cars, I've serviced my own cars. Renault's, all French cars, I don't know why, the electrics go wrong. Next time you see a car with brake lights that are stuck on, I guarantee it's a Peugeot. Another French manufacturer. But anyway, I did some research and I found lots of comparisons of all electric cars which are great for a commute, and the Renault Zoe wins almost all of them in terms of range, in terms of the cost to buy it, in terms of the options, the interiors, the size of it, the performance, the comfort. So anyway, we then looked into the options of the Zoe, and once again, it's like a big bloody flowchart, this. So many different options once you decide on one path, and then you've got another 2 paths, and then you choose that one and you've got another 3 paths. But then the option is buying it outright or leasing it. And we looked into leasing, and we just thought, well, the amount of money you spend monthly is so much to lease a car, and after 3 years you actually end up owning nothing. So that really didn't appeal to us. So we ruled out the idea of leasing. And then we thought, okay, we'll buy. Then we discovered there's 2 options for buying. You can either, seriously, people in Sweden are just terrible drivers. Not only do they not indicate when they're pulling out to overtake, but they're just all over the place. In fairness, the majority of those drivers that are bad are not Swedes, visually at least. I think they're immigrants like me. But I feel that I'm a really good immigrant driver, but most of them in Sweden are not. Anyway, and I can talk about that because I'm an immigrant. So anyway, before any trolls start commenting. So Zoe, anyway, so buying one outright. Then you've got 2 options as well. You can buy the Zoe outright, because we weren't going to buy one brand new. They're about 320,000 krona. That's about 28,000 pounds for a tiny car, even though it's amazing. So we thought, okay, we'll buy one that's a couple of years old. So we looked at 2018, which is the older model, slightly older motor. It's not quite as big a battery, but we don't care. We don't need a lot of range. We looked at some of them, and you've got the options of buying it fully, where you own the battery, or you can buy them with a hire battery or a lease battery, where basically you never own the battery, which is probably the chunk of the used price when you buy one second hand. And the good thing about not buying the battery and you lease it, you pay monthly, it's about 1,000 kroner, so about £80, £90, depending on the mileage you do. If it breaks down, any problems with that battery at all, Renault cover it. If you break down and it's because of the battery, Renault come and pick you up, breakdown cover. And also, of course, when that battery eventually dies, you don't own it. So, you know, you've got an 8-year warranty on them as well. And let's face it, after 8 years, you've got so much money saved out of a fully electric car that it's worthwhile. God, I'm really rabbiting on, aren't I? This is 5 minutes in so far, and I hope I'm not confusing everyone. So anyway, we bought a 2018 Renault Zoe with 2,000 mil, which is 2,000 Swedish miles, which is 20,000 kilometers. It's very confusing in Sweden. A mil, or a mile as it looks when you see it spelled, is 1 mil is 10 kilometers. And we paid, actually it was up for 148,000. I knocked them down to 132, which I was really pleased with, because no one ever haggles in Sweden. Everyone's too afraid to ask for a discount, but I got one and I'm really happy about it. So we got this car and we're really happy with it. We bought it, we agreed on it, and it's got everything. It's got air conditioning, it's got Bluetooth, it's got touchscreen entertainment system, it's got 16-inch alloy wheels, it's got 4 doors as well. You might not realize this, but the Renault Zoe has 4 doors. You look at photos of them and it looks like a 2-door because there's no rear handles. They're at the top discreetly, but there's tons of space in the back, way more than enough to put a baby, a car seat, even 2 car seats. And it's just a great little car. I'm on eco mode at the moment and it doesn't go very fast, but if you turn off eco mode, we're doing 96 at the moment, put my foot down, 97, 100, 103, 106, 110. So it's really, really nippy, and I can't tell you how fun this thing is to drive. It's fully charged, and when I picked it up, it had 265 kilometers range on the clock. I've driven from Landskrona down to Hillier, and now I'm back on the way to Hillier. We've got 221 kilometers range. So it's incredible. I also looked at the price of charging it up. You get the charging unit with it. You don't need to install a big charging box outside your house. You plug it into a socket in the garage, just any old plug socket, mains plug socket, and it costs about 20-30 krona to charge it fully. So if you think about it, it's just costing virtually nothing compared to a petrol car, which you'd have to fill up every 3 or 4 days if you're doing that kind of commute. Anyway, so big long discussion about the Renault Zoe. I'm driving it now. This is coming from a guy that has owned M3s. When we moved in from England, I sold my new model M3, which I loved. I've driven, my last car was an RS5 as well, an Audi RS5. I drive sports cars, but I love this Renault Zoe. I can't believe I'm saying it. Anyway, better get on because I've got to concentrate on the road. Phone's in a hands-free, by the way. Have a good weekend, guys. We've got lots of moving to do. Wish us luck. And comment below with your thoughts if you've thought about electric versus hybrid versus benzene or petrol. Cheers, guys.